What's up, Action-Flix fanatics? This is John Jerva coming at you with the first ever video Action-Fix podcast. I started the Action-Fix podcast last year, did a few episodes, did a lot of great interviews, and put it on the back burner back in September because, I had a lot of stuff going on, was busy with a lot of things, personal wise and everything. So I'm bringing it back. I actually brought it back a few weeks ago with my exclusive interview for the Paper Tigers that just came out. The Paper Tigers, which is the martial arts kung fu comedy, which stars Ron Ewan, Mikhail Shannon Jenkins, and Elaine Yui. It was a great movie. Loved every bit of it, especially because I resonated with it. So basically, if you're an aging martial artist, you'll totally get a kick out of this movie because you'll know exactly, what it's going for. And if you're not, it's still funny. You'll still have a good time with it. And so I did an interview with all three stars, which was pretty amazing. That's up now on YouTube and on my website, so check it out. So I'm bringing back the podcast, so I'm going to be doing both audio and video. This is my first video. So, like I said, there's no bells and whistles right now. There's no big things. I'm going to have my banner with music at the beginning and then at the end, and that's it for now. Like I said, I got no editing or anything like that. It's just me in my office. You see my shots back there. Snake Eyes. Super excited for that movie to come out. Saw the trailer when I was on vacation last week, and of course I put it up on the website. I think it looks phenomenal. It was only a minute. Would have liked a longer one for as long as we've been waiting for it. It was supposed to actually come out last year, but the pandemic put it off, and it was supposed to come out this October. Then they bumped it up to July, and now here we are, and they only gave us 1 minute. It's like, can you at least give us 2? I mean, I know you want to keep things a secret, but yeah, so I'm excited about that one. Of course, Triple Threat's right over here. One of my favorite movies from Jesse V. Johnson, who I've interviewed a few times, and of course, my man Scott Adkins. Been a fan of his since Special Forces, and have had a chance to interview him a bunch of times too, which is pretty damn cool. So here I am. This is my office. This is what I'm doing. So don't have any guests or anything lined up for this one. So I'm just talking to you guys and just chatting away, seeing where it takes me. I don't have any script. It's just me just doing it from my mind. So first thing I want to talk about is going to do some news for you. So biggest thing today's Friday. Actually, it's Saturday now. It's 12:30 Saturday morning as I do this. So yesterday, so we can say the biggest news was the Man of Steel, Henry Cavill, was announced that he's going to star in the Highlander reboot that director Chad Stahelski is doing. Everybody knows Chad from the John Wick movies. He's one of the stunt guys that's cut his teeth in the industry doing stunt work and is now a phenomenal filmmaker and director. Has done the John Wick movies, and he's doing a lot of other good stuff, and this is one of the projects that he's been kicking around with for years now. And actually, to tell you the truth, I forgot about it. I posted about it months and months ago when they started talking about it, and then nothing has happened with it. So all of a sudden today, I'm on my feed going through, and I'm like, there it is. Henry Cavill's the Highlander. So I'm like, oh, okay, and I'm like, I'm excited for the choice too. I think he would be phenomenal in the role. Now, of course, they said that not much is known about it. And the fact is, if he's going to be a new character, or is he going to play, like Connor McLeod, like Christopher Lambert's original character? My personal idea, which for what it's worth, I think they should have Henry play a new character, and I think they should have Christopher come in and pass the torch, which he kind of did with Adrian Paul in Endgame. But I think like they should bring him back and kind of do it that way. That would be pretty cool. Like, if they did one of those type things, like, Henry's the new Highlander and Christopher Lambert's Connor McLeod takes the Ramirez role, that Sean Connery was so great at in the first one. And he kind of does that, type of thing. I think that'd be a really good idea. But you know what? Whatever they do with it, I'm sure it's going to be pretty cool. Like I said, a lot of people frown upon reboots and remakes. I'm okay with them. Like if they're done well, I've liked a lot of them. So that was the biggest news for today. And of course, the other big news, or I should say yesterday, the other big news was Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead finally came out on Netflix. Army of the Dead, which again was another movie that was supposed to be released last year, but due to the pandemic, they kind of held off on it and released it now. And it finally came out, and it stars Dave Bautista, of course. And I got a chance to watch it today. I'm actually in the middle of writing my official review for it. It'll be out probably tomorrow. So just give you a really brief synopsis of what I'm gonna say. And basically, it's a zombie ass kicking good time. It's Zack Snyder returns to the genre that made him a household name when he did Dawn of the Dead. He did the remake of Dawn of the Dead, and now he's back. So he did the whole Justice League thing, though that was a big thing in his career and life for a while. Now it's finally come out. Now he's able to turn the page, and he's able to go into other things now. And this is the first thing now, which is Army of the Dead, and I think it's a great movie. I mean, it's like I said, it's not going to reinvent the wheel, like I said, but for a zombie movie, you know, it's been done to death in TV and in movies, and like every week you see a new direct-to-video, low-budget zombie movie get released, you know. So I think this kind of re-injects some new life into it. A lot of people were saying when, you know, I posted trailers and stuff for it on my website, people would go, you know, why would you do a heist movie in the middle of a heist in the middle of a zombie apocalypse? And I was like, well, just give it a chance. It's Zack Snyder and Dave Bautista, for Christ's sake. I'm like, so, but as it turns out, it's not the zombie apocalypse. I mean, yes, there is zombies and there is a breakout, but the world is still ticking, so it's pretty much contained to Las Vegas when it happens. And the rest of the world is still kind of, you know, it's still functioning, so money's still there, so it makes sense to do a heist movie. So because it's not a full-blown zombie apocalypse, like the whole world hasn't been destroyed. But it's a pretty good movie. It starts off with a military convoy transporting something, and then it gets into an accident. And I'm not going to say how it gets into accident, but I thought it was pretty funny, like how, you know, not for the people that didn't make it, but for the reason why it happened, I thought it was pretty original. But then something escapes, and we don't know if it was government made or what it is, but it's called the Alpha. And it's a badass like creature. I wouldn't even call it a zombie. It's something badass. And he gets set loose, and he pretty much starts to turn. He heads to Vegas because that's the city that's closest, and pretty much that's where, you know, ground zero is. And then the whole beginning during the credits is the whole mayhem and carnage when it's first breaking out. And you see Bautista and a bunch of soldiers fighting their way through it and everything. And then Dave Bautista plays Scott Ward, who's a badass, but he suffers a big tragedy, and I'm not going to spoil it for you guys. I'm going to let you watch the movie, but he pretty much goes off the grid afterwards and is flipping burgers at a diner. And as Vegas is quarantined, kind of like, you know, New York City was in Escape from New York, you know, where they made that a prison. This is quarantine type of thing, or Doomsday, you know, if you remember that movie kind of thing, where it's quarantine. Hiroyuki Sanada, who was just in the Mortal Kombat movie, played Scorpion. He's in this movie, a little bit more of a cameo. He doesn't really have a lot to do in this movie, but he's pretty good in the scenes that he's in. And he hires Bautista to go into Vegas, and to steal billions and millions of dollars. And Bautista assembles a team, and of course there's a hitch, you know, they only have so much time because the government has greenlit a nuclear strike on Vegas to quell the zombie outbreak, you know, so it doesn't get any further. So Bautista and his merry band of mercenaries go in, and it's 2.5 hours long, which a lot of people are complaining that it's too long. And of course, Zack Snyder doesn't really make short movies. We all know that. And this movie probably could have been 2 hours, maybe, but I think the 2.5 hour running time served a good purpose, because it just wasn't like, you know, like a full high octane zombie gore fest from start to finish. The running time gave you a chance to be with the characters, see them interact with each other, and you don't get to know everybody on a big level, but when deaths happen, it's more meaningful because them a little bit more. So I thought that was a good thing, so there's a little bit of character involvement, so when stuff happens, it's more meaningful. But of course there's the action, and it's phenomenal. Like I said, it's pretty badass, especially the ending when there's this big, you've seen it a little bit of it in the trailers when Batista's running on top of the tables at the casino shooting, and running and gunning, as I say. And I love that scene. That was probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie. And the ending is a little bit, I wasn't sure about the ending. It's Zack Snyder, so I don't know, I'm not going to spoil it, but I don't really know if they want to do more, which they're already doing the prequels with the anime series and the prequel movie. But then if they want to do more sequels, they're going to have to go in a different direction, because but I wasn't sure about the ending. But other than that, I thought the movie was a good time. I'm going to give it 3.5 stars. Action-Flix approved. So like I said, I'm in the middle of writing my review right now, and you can read that when it goes up on actionflix.com. It'll be more detailed, of course, like what I thought about it. It had flaws, like I said, some of the dialogue, was iffy and stuff like that. Some scenes, went on for a little too long. But other than that, I thought it was a pretty good time. And Snyder, like I said, love him, hate him, he's a great visual storyteller, I think. Like I said, I'm a fan. Like, I know he has his critics. A lot of people don't like him. But I've enjoyed his movies, probably except for the exception of Sucker Punch, which, I tried watching a couple times. And I did watch, all the way through, but not a real big fan of that movie. Just, for certain reasons. But other than that, I've really enjoyed his movies throughout the years. And he's just a great guy. And the tragedy that he suffered, while doing Justice League and everything that happened to him, kind of sucked, So now he's turned the chapter on the page, as you will, on all that, and now he's moving on, and he's doing his Netflix thing now. So it looks like Netflix has, golfed him up, and he's going to be doing some good things with them, hopefully. But like I said, if you have a chance to see it, watch it. I think it's a good time. It does some different things for the zombie, genre. And, it's got comedy, it's got gore, it's got action, it's got Batista. What else what possible more could you want? I think Batista's, doing a great job with his acting career. So that's out now. So that's the biggest movie that came out. So last week I was on vacation, so I was kind of out of the loop. The other big thing, like I mentioned, the big Snake Eyes trailer came out. If you've read my posts, if you've kept up with me on the website, I've been, pumping this one up because I'm a Snake Eyes fan. I've been a G.I. Joe fan since I was a kid. I was a fan when they had the bigger dolls, when it was like a 6-man strike force, adventure force, if you will, before Marvel took it over and turned it into the huge military squad that it is known to this day. But I was a big Snake Eyes fan from the get-go, and I loved the character, and every time he was in the comics, I ate it up. I thought that the cartoon didn't really do him justice, but I have enjoyed the movies that came out. G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra, of course, Retaliation I liked even better. Rise of Cobra had its problems, because it was made during the writer's strike, and they kind of rushed it into production and everything, but I still enjoyed it. And I thought Channing Tatum was fine. I know he's gotten some heat, playing Duke, but I thought he did a good job. And the rest of the cast, I thought, was having a great time with it. And of course, Ray Park was Snake Eyes in those movies. He did them both. And Retaliation with The Rock was even better, I thought. I thought that, it brought it more into the way the comic books were. But now we have the reboot, or they're starting over, so now they're starting with my favorite character. And then now I know it's taken some heat because a lot of the fans are saying, Snake Eyes is a mysterious character, you're not supposed to see his face, he's supposed to be disfigured, and this and that, and then they changed his ethnicity. Okay, it's like, it doesn't have to be exactly like the comic books, and this is just my opinion, okay? And this is talking from a fan who's been there from the beginning, okay? I think what they're going to be doing with it is going to be a good thing, and this is going to be hopefully starting a whole new franchise, and we'll get more G.I. Joe movies. Because like I said, if they can make Transformers movies, they made like 6 of those so far. It's like, why can't you make more G.I. Joe movies? So everybody's complaining that, my biggest thing, and I've said this in my posts, I've said this in my article, that I know Henry Golding is playing the role of Snake Eyes, but he's got to wear the helmet. He's got to wear the mask. He's got to suit up as Snake Eyes, or else it's not a Snake Eyes movie. I know we got to see his face, and I'm sure we'll see his face throughout the movie. But when it comes time, you better put the mask on and better wear it, because I get it. Like, there's a lot of these comic book movies that are made. Like Black Panther, if you remember that. Oh, of course you remember that movie with the late, great Chadwick Boseman and Michael B. Jordan. Now, if you remember that movie, I kind of didn't really like the ending, because when they're fighting, their helmets kept going on and off, because I think the filmmakers think that you need to see their faces. Well, of course, they're the stars. They need to get seen because they're getting paid. I get it. But don't do the movie if you're not going to wear the mask, because that's the whole point. Chris Evans wore the mask. I mean, I know there was a lot of times he didn't have the mask on as Captain America, but he wore the mask a lot. So it works, and I know with this one, he's completely covered. The Snake Eyes character is completely covered, but that's the character. So, and Golding's playing it, and it looks like he's going to do a great job with it. Andrew Koji from Warrior is going to be Storm Shadow, but you got to have them wear their outfits, man. So that's my only thing. So that's what I'm going to be going into as a fan, and I'm going to be curious to see how they handle it, and especially if they make more, and if he becomes Snake, and we don't know if he becomes disfigured or not. You don't know where it's going with it, because everybody's like, oh, you're not supposed to know who he is. It's like, yeah, you kind of got to know who he was in the comic books. Yeah, it's different because he was a Vietnam vet and everything, but here it's different. But that's fine. I'm a fanboy, but I'm a fanboy who can accept change if it's done good, if it's done well, if it's I don't have to have it the exact same way that it was in the original source material. You can change it. That's fine. If anything, I like when it changes because it makes it fresh. It makes it exciting. It's not the same old. So I think they're going to be doing a good job with it. Like I said, my only reservation is that he's got to be Snake Eyes. And even the poster that came out, you see his face and he's holding the helmet. I get it. Henry Golding, you want to see his face, and the people want you to see his face. But we all know what he looks like. So when it comes time to put the mask on, put it on. That's all I'm saying. But I'm excited for it, like I said. And the teaser that came out looked good, but for as long as we've been waiting, they could have gave us at least a 2-minute trailer. I'm like, really? 1 minute? I mean, I know you don't want to show a lot. I know you want to keep it, but you better come out with something extended before the movie comes out, because I got to see more. So that's all I'm going to say on that. So that was the other big thing. So like I said, I was on vacation last week, so I didn't get a really chance to do a lot of things. So I'm back. Spent a lot of time on the beach. So had a good time with my wife. It was our anniversary. So that was the 3 biggest things. That's pretty much what I have to say for now. So like I said, this is just if you listen to my inaugural Action-Fix podcast, my audio one, I just talked for about 30 minutes about things. I just rambled on and just whatever came to my head, I just went with it. So that's what I'm doing here. I don't have a structured format for this one. I will for other ones. Like I said, I'm going to have some guests on. I want to have some, other guys on from other websites and just come together. We're all fans, we're all action fans, and just be positive and talk to each other and just have fun and enjoy action movies. I know it's not like it was in the 80s or the 90s, but I'm still a fan. I'll be a fan until the day I die, so hopefully I'll get a lot of good stuff going for you guys. And I got a lot of good stuff coming up on both the audio version of the podcast and now the video version that you're going to see on YouTube. So right now, like I said, go on YouTube and you'll see my Paper Tigers exclusive interview with the 3 stars, which was a great time. I got to talk to them for about 15 minutes. Actually, it was supposed to only be about 10 minutes. A lot of times I get these interviews set up and they're like 10 minutes. I'm like, what are you supposed to talk about in 10 minutes? but I stretched it to 15. I think they let me have it because it was late. I was supposed to talk to them, and it was probably like 10 minutes late, so they probably felt bad if let me talk a little bit longer. So check that out. My review of the Paper Tigers is out. I've actually had a chance to do a lot of reviews lately. I think a couple months went by, and it was pretty much my contributors that were reviewing movies for me, and love them all. Like I'll do shout outs. Danny Templegod from Dan's Movie Report. I've been with him for a long time. He's a great guy. Did some reviews for me. And newcomer Anthony Francis, who does a lot of stuff for Screen Comment. Hooked up with him. He's every time I open up my email, I got an email from Anthony saying, "Hey, I got another one for you." So he's been great. He's been doing a lot of good stuff for me. But yeah, so lately I actually did a lot. I did Wrath of Man with Jason Statham. What can I say about that movie with Jason Statham in on the big screen again? You can't be dead. It's been a while since that's happened. So check that one out. I did Without Remorse, which again has taken its lumps from some people, but I wanted to see things blow up and get shot, and I did. And Michael B. Jordan I thought was pretty great in it. And of course, it's the start of a franchise, so it's a prequel, so I'm really excited to see where they go with that. I did 400 Bullets from Tom Patton, who you might know from the movie Black Site, who did Black Site with Jean-Paul I. Pretty good movie. I thought there could have been more fighting with Jean-Paul. I thought they could have done a little bit more in it. And some of the shooting was standard. Some of the shooting scenes, some of the firefights was standard. But I thought it was a pretty good indie flick. So that's on there too. And of course, Paper Tigers is up there now. I did Nobody with Bob Odenkirk. So I thought that was a pretty good movie. Kind of John Wickish, but in a different way. Godzilla vs. Kong's on there too. I love that movie. Like I said, if you're a fan of either one of them, you gotta love that movie. I mean, they did a really good job with that. And the only thing is, I want to see more of that. So yeah, so I've actually been I did Justice League. I did a review for the Zack Snyder's Justice League, which I thought, again, one of my top, probably 2 favorite comic book movies of all time. Avengers Endgame is probably it's kind of like, which one? Don't know. Because that one was my favorite, and then I saw this one. I'm like, ooh. I'm like, it's like Marvel and DC. It's like, okay, so this is my favorite Marvel. That's my favorite DC. So I have actually been doing a lot of reviews lately, and I started the rapid fire reviews. If you guys have seen those, just something I started off to do more reviews, just with half the time. If you notice, a lot of my reviews are pretty lengthy. So sometimes I just like to do the rapid fire ones where it's just like, the good, the bad, and the overall. So it just gives you half the time. So check those out too. So hopefully I'll be able to do a lot more of those in the future. Like I said, and 6 years, August, I would have been doing this website. And like I said, I can't thank everybody enough for all the support, everybody that's been contributing, and excuse me. And it's just been a great time. All those celebrities that I've gotten to talk to, and all the cool people, the directors, the filmmakers. And like I said, I'm a big voice for the indie filmmakers. Like I said, I like to, get their movies out on a bigger platform for people to see. I know I'm not JoeBlow.com or comingsoon.net, but I'm a little fish in a big pond, and I like to do my part and just promote the genre that I've grown up with and just love doing. And like I always say at the end of my articles, keep it locked and loaded right here, because we are your destination for action. If it shoots, blows up, kicks, punches, it's right here. And like I said, if anybody's got any ideas, bring them on by. I love to hear them. And like I said, I want to get some people on here and just talk movies. So check it out. This is my new video Action-Flix podcast. It's going to be up on YouTube, and I'll put them up on my website too. So it's going to be a good time. I'm really excited. I got the the written website going on. I got the audio podcast, and I got the video podcast. So can't complain. Life's been pretty good so far. So until then, like I said, keep it locked and loaded because we got a lot more coming. So stay safe. Peace out.